Hello and welcome. Hello. Thank you for tuning in, for taking the time to check out my channel. It means a lot to me. And thank you for all of the new subscribers. It really means a lot. Places a lot of value in my work, and I'm very, very grateful for the engagement that you guys give me. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and have a look at my very wide range catalog, I guess you could kind of say. There's a lot of stuff going on, but that's just me. So yeah, please go and have a look and see if there's something there that interests you. Today I am going to be looking at Donald Trump's chart. So I have all of his details here. This was a request by a subscriber who messaged me and said, could you please look at Donald Trump? Yes, I will. I'm here and I'm going to do it. I said I was going to do it. So promises made, promises kept. I will also be looking at Putin's chart as well. So I'll be looking at Vladimir Putin's chart also. So let's get on with this astrological chart reading. This is what you will get from me when you book me for a natal chart report. So I'm going to be going in there and looking at it exactly how I am now, and that's what you will be getting. So it's kind of like a taste tester for people out there that are new to astrology or are seasoned with astrology. Then this is just what I do. So for those of you that don't know, I am a full-time working spiritual counselor, artist, author, and astrologer. So I do offer astrological chart readings. Please just go to my chart and click on the link. At the moment, I have a 25-minute reading available or a 45-minute reading available. And you just email me in with your details and put in as much backstory and context as you would like. I am a little bit of a sucker for a good backstory. And I go in there and look at it. I look at your photo, I look at the times, the dates, the planets, the houses, everything, and I upload it and give it to you in an MP3 that you can record. So if you'd like to have a look at some of the testimonials and the feedback that has come through, it's all been really positive, and the results speak for themselves. So that being said, let's do this. So Donald John Trump was born on the 14th of June in 1946. Like you know, he is an American politician now, and he was the 45th president of the United States and is now again the president of the United States. He was a very successful businessman and real estate mogul, I guess you could say, and of course a television personality, celebrity. I do remember traveling to the States back in 2000 and maybe it was 2010 or 2009, and at the time Celebrity Apprentice was on, and Trump was it was his show. He was the judge. He was the you're fired kind of guy. He is a very polarizing character. So that being said, I'm going to do some housekeeping because I know this can get pretty heated pretty quickly. This is not an attack on Trump. This isn't me swaying or pissing off Democrats or pissing off Republicans. That's not what this is about. I'm just simply going in there and conducting a reading and showing you where everything is coming from when I look at the astrological psychology of this man. Okay, so yeah, so as you know, astrology, if you don't know this, astrology is astropsychology. So yes, it's very real, and all of the placements of us is basically the blueprint of a human. So you can get a bit of a heads up and you can get a bit of a head start on someone. That's why actually at the moment I'm getting a lot of readings coming in, people asking me to look at their partner's charts. So I'm totally cool with that. I like a good, I think they call it Zanisty chart, where I look at both charts side by side One of the things that I can do is I can overlap the chart on top of the other partner's chart, make one red and make one blue, and see what is sitting where and what's compatible. It's really interesting. You can really get to know someone a lot better. So yeah, so this is not about some kind of heavy duty thing to piss people off. It's just me looking at his chart. So that being said, the basics, let's start there. This can kind of jump around. I've got his chart in front of me and it is a fucking hot mess. It's all over the shop. There's so much going on with this man's chart. It's what an interesting life this man has had up until now. It's been a real roller coaster. He's got his sun sitting in Gemini. It's right up there at 22 degrees. So his sun sign is his external world. He does have a moon in the Sagittarius. I do share a moon with this placement as well. So the darker aspect of that, it's sitting at 21 degrees, is a moon in Sagittarius is a very restless, like, soul. Okay, so it can be a lot like a lot of ups and downs with the moon in Sag. It could be winning everything, losing everything, getting everything back again. All right, that's the gist of that. And the negative side of a moon in Sagittarius is feeling unsatisfied with everything in life. You know, so the darker aspects of that placement is you get that thing and then you're bored. Want something else now, that type of thing. Okay, his Mercury is sitting in Cancer, which is very interesting. We'll be getting into that. That's sitting at 8 degrees. He's got his Venus is sitting in Cancer. So he's like the patriarchal figure, the daddy. Venus in Cancer. So Cancer is where the dick sits. That's the phallus. Okay, in some of the Placidus astrologies, I have noticed that astrologers have been looking at him in a Leo Venus, but for the purpose of this one, his Venus is in Cancer. Okay, so he is the father, the daddy. He wants to be the one to settle everything. We can look at the darker aspects of that, of course, as well. Light and shade. His Mars, so the phallus, of him is sitting at 26 degrees. It's way up there in the degree and it's sitting in Leo. So that Leo energy is very, very strong, and it's also conjunct and sitting squared with his ascending sitting in Leo as well. So his rising sign and how he sees the world is very rudimented in his motivations, and kind of could almost be like the dark aspect of those two together squared would be a bully, someone that bullies people. The thing about the Geminis, which I've talked about before, I do have quite a few videos here on my channel about the Gemini, is that we're looking at kind of like a mirror house. So he can mirror things around him. His communication is very, very strong. All right, he can be many people for many different reasons at one time. Okay, a lot of Kanye West energy or Russell Brown energy sits in that Gemini placement in that sun, and at times it can be very confusing, even a rising or a moon in Gemini. It's very quick thinking and it's able to twist narratives very easily. Okay, so Gemini mirrors the mind and Cancers mirror the heart, as does Pisces as well. It's all mirroring. Okay, this is very good in business. Business deals with a Gemini sun is a really good one. He does have his Jupiter. So in the planetary correlations, Jupiter is where your expansion happens, and that happens in Libra for him. So that is playing out in Libra. We'll have a look at the houses in a minute, but that energy really magnifies his need for beauty. All right. Some have looked at his chart and said he's a Taurus, but I'm going with the Gemini today. I'm going with the Gemini sun, not the Taurus. But yes, there is a lot of appreciation for the human form. His Malicolin, or his MC, or his midheaven, is sitting in Taurus. So that's very greedy, very materialistic, very focused on personal gain. and that is amplified as it's sitting squared against his Sagittarius. So it's like he loves expansion, and his persona and his public identity is very, very important to him. Okay, so with that traditional Taurus there as well, that's very solid, grounded earth. And it's like it's associated with the second house. And the second house plays out in material possessions, money, luxury, and real estate. And I think that at the start of Trump's career, he was very heavily in real estate. Okay. And when it comes to Taurus with a Leo ascending, or a Gemini moon, a Leo ascending, this plays out an amplifying of the physical appearance. So he is very attached to his own projection, and he's very concerned with other people, what other people think of him. With that midheaven sitting right up at 24 degrees in Taurus, that is a worry for me. That is someone that is like, in terms of this energy with Trump, it's like someone who really loves beauty and wants to possess beauty. I do think he also was, he ran like the Miss Universe contest, I think, and he was very much like a part of that with the judging and things like that. So being around beautiful people, being around beautiful models, being around people with very high sexual marketplace value is what Trump is attracted to. So we've got that beauty is playing out very strongly in possession of it. And that's playing out in the 11th house for him. So it's like he's a socialite that uses financial influence to secure sexual marketplace value with people. So money is something that he uses to secure relationships. And his Cancer sitting in Venus, where was that? Yeah, it was right up at 25 degrees. So he's got a very agitated chart. When I look at a chart and I see a lot of very high degrees that are in oppositions, that's an angry chart to me. That's a chart that this person is going to have a lot of like mental health problems. They're going to have a lot of issues where things play out like in a really rough way. It's not a smooth energy. There's a lot of opposition banging around in his chart. So this really creates interesting characters, and he definitely is an interesting character. But yeah, so he uses beauty, he secures beauty in his Cancer Venus by materiality. So that's what I see. And networking. Networking is a huge aspect to his chart with the moon in Sagittarius and the sun in Gemini. So he makes a lot of very strong business partners. He knows how to play rooms with people, and he knows how to sometimes overplay his hand with certain things. That Sagittarius sitting in conjunct with the Venus sun is someone that is a master at their projection of physical appearance, and they're very competitive with things around them. Okay, when we have a Saturn sitting on top of this in a trine, what I would say is that is like absence of father. So his Saturn is playing out very high in Cancer. When I see that, and I see that, I always look at the Saturn and look at where it's sitting against the Venus. That to me is someone that has abandonment issues by the father. So it's like his ego was very badly wounded by the absence of a father figure. Usually Saturn is father to me. So it could be that his dad was not around. There was not a father figure, or his grandfather was not there. But it's a very, what I'd call inflammated. It's got a lot of inflammation sitting around the Cancer Saturn. So it's like absence of father figure, or he wasn't nurtured properly. So in polarity in the universe, just getting a little bit meta with you, is that everything works in polarity. So if someone has experienced the lack of love, or the lack of being kind of nurtured properly, the wound of that creates a hole, and that hole needs to be filled by overcompensation for the pain of that hole. That's how humans often work, especially around childhood. That's why when we come to someone like me that's into psychology, and this level of spiritual counseling, we're always going to go back to the childhood, because that is where the building blocks of a human is. And that's where a lot of the wounds happen. Wounds in astrology sit in the Chiron. Chiron is what we need to heal over our lifetime in the human form. Okay, so he has a really strong hunger. He has a very strong set of expectations, that it's almost like the sins of the father are the sins of the son. When I see any triple placement sitting in a Cancer, this to me is something that would be playing out in a human's life that indicates some level of disapproval from family and needing to win approval or be seen or be number one, or like, it's like someone who drives around in a sports car and goes up and down the street. They need, and really loudly, they need everyone to see that they're in. It's like a show. There's a showman to him. And that showmanship is totally amplified with his moon in Sagittarius. Sagittarians like to do that. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I see there. So I don't know whether his relationship with his father was good, but it's like he's become brutally overly ambitious, and there's a hunger that is sitting in his Mercury in Cancer as well. So Saturn in Cancer, Venus in Cancer, Mercury in Cancer. This is all the wounded little boy. It's a wounded child, okay? So that energy is like overcompensation. And you see with the Leo ascending, that can be like someone that can become the bully, in high school, in primary school, someone that overserts themselves forcefully by manipulation, or even just kind of strong-arming people. Okay, let's have a look at the lines. He's got a Venus at 25 conjunct squared. Jupiter is in Chiron. So it's like a lot of wounds are going to be sitting around his marriages. So a lot of wounding around relationships, and kind of like he is prone to cheating as well. I can see that in the Sagittarius 22 to 21 degrees. See, Jupiter, when I look at the moon in Jupiter, like Jupiter is not a relationship planet. Jupiter to me is a planet about expansion in all ways, in all things. I have this placement myself. So for someone to sustain me on a real relationship level in a marriage, their mind and their spirit has to be equal or greater than me. Otherwise, I'll outgrow them, and he does outgrow people very quickly. Jupiter in a relationship is a happy planet. It's an abundant planet. And it's almost like sometimes with relationships and even in business, he will lose everything and then he just gets it all back again. I have that placement too. It's really interesting when I look at like the underdog. You know, we come out, it's like I know how this works because I've seen this in my own life, but just when I thought it was over, just when I thought everything was done, it's like, no, I figure out another way and then I pull myself right back out. He can do that very easily. And that's all sitting in the second house. It's where his Jupiter is. It's all about the money. Okay, so he'll never be poor. He'll always have abundance. And he's also very smart. He's got a lot of people around him that know way more than he does. Okay, so that Gemini in conjunct with the Sagittarius Sun and Moon, he positions himself around people that are the absolute best. Okay, now in relationships, people say usually Venus in Cancer or Cancers usually are not cheaters because they do want security and stability in relationships. But looking at the placements around his Cancer, it all deals with like value systems in Jupiter and Cancer. So he is prone to cheating and he will compromise his values when he's tempted. Okay, so when I see the Venus sitting conjunct in Saturn, that's someone who wants something better. They wanted 1 million, then they wanted 1,000,001. They wanted a beautiful house with a picket fence, then they want like a resort. They wanted the resort, then they wanted an island, that type of thing. It's all about expansion. I'd love to see where his retrogrades are sitting, but that's another video for another time. That'd be interesting. But yeah, so that's what he's not an unlucky person. Venus in Venus intercepted again means that sometimes he may play the victim at times, but he's very, very articulate with how he appears to people in terms of his speech as well. Okay, so he's like, he knows the demographic of people, the majority of Americans that listen to him. He knows how to communicate with them. All right, so let's have a look. But a lot of his planets are just sitting around the wound and his Chiron. So his Chiron is an asteroid. It's the wounded healer. So he's got a lot of wounds in his marriage. He's hurt a lot of people in his marriages. Like there's been even relationships, secret relationships. Jupiter against Neptune deals in heaven and hell. So a lot of his relationships, he does like, oh my God, it's his relationship sitting in Libra. So it's like he lacks boundaries with relationships. So he is prone to like taking the better option or betraying partners. He's a bit of a fibber when it comes to relationships. He's more of a friend than he is a husband. And that would make sense. But I believe he did cheat on Melania as well, which is strange because when you look at her and you're like, you cheated on this beautiful model. But that's the Jupiter in Sagittarius moon. So it's like it's always wanting more. But I also see like payoffs. When we see the Neptune sitting against let's have a look. Where's his Neptune? Where did it go? Neptune, there we go. Libra, okay, yeah. So it's like the better option. He knows how to keep someone where he needs them in a relationship. I also see that could be very secretive because it's sitting under Neptune, is sitting in Libra. So it's like he's paid people off. He's had relationships with certain people and he's like just said, look, I'll just set you up for life. Here's a couple of million, just have a great life. So there's a lot of secret relationships around him, a lot of secret affairs. He is very sexual as well. So he's got a very sexual aspect there. His North Node sits against Gemini in his Sun. So he is very sexually kinky as well. But that's just kind of what he does. So yeah, it's very secretive. It's underground. This also deals with addictions. Sagittarius moon keeps coming up for me a lot. Let's have a look again. Yeah, so it's like addictions to food, addictions to sex, addictions to stimulation. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he like swallows coffee, like just straight coffee down all the time. But that's what I see there. It's like the high, that Gemini mercurial energy is always looking for highs. He also likes to play the characters as well. He likes to play characters with that Gemini sun as well. So he might appear to be really dumb, but he actually knows exactly what he's doing. It's like the court jester, but they just know where everything is. So he's not stupid. Let's have a look. He's got that very eccentric energy as well, because Uranus in Aquarius with his Leo, he'll always be popular. He'll always be like kind of a little bit culty. When I see that's sitting in the 10th house, and the 10th house to me is a public house. So he's a bit like, it's like a cult leader in a way. He knows how to sway the masses. Okay, let's have a look. Business-wise, he's sitting all in the 11th house, so that's where he gets it from. I do see a lot of his power sits around real estate, and we know that he was a real estate agent. So he had agents working for him. He bought up tons of property. So it was kind of this thing where this power play has come in, where it's like he can't be bought by politicians or corporations because he is richer than them. So it's like he's really shaken up a lot of like the establishment and a lot of things around him that were in opposition to him. And with that Sagittarius moon and Gemini sun, Uranus in Gemini, is that he's basically a tool in a way that is being used. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a higher power above him, like Congress or people above him that are actually using him as a puppetry or like a chess piece on a board as well. So sometimes when we see that ascendant in Leo, they think that they're higher than where they are, but they're actually being played by other forces around them. So I would caution that, and I would also caution that when we look at his relationship with Elon Musk as well. I did look at Elon's chart as well, and there was a lot of things that came up for me that didn't look right. They weren't squared off well. So it would be very interesting to see how his relationship with Elon is going to go. If it's like who's manipulating who kind of thing. I hope all of this is making sense, guys. I hope you're enjoying me talking about this. Let's continue. What's going on? Yeah, there's a lot of dirty dealings sitting around, dirty people in the family. It's all playing out in the 12th house. So, and he does make a lot of enemies in his 12th house as well. I don't see him as a drinker, but I do see addictions around him. So I think he might have some health issues around the heart and the body as well, like in the nervous system. His nervous system seems to be quite blown out too. That's sitting in the Chiron. I'm also looking at the body aspects as well. I've recently just been getting into geographical locations for planetary correlations as well, which is really interesting. I'm going to start including that actually in my readings with people, because once I look at their chart, I can see where they would be best placed to live in the world. I'm actually best placed to live around Bali and Thailand. So, and that makes perfect sense because it's so free and beautiful and, you know, that type of thing. But anyway, I should have a look at Trump's, but I can't see it. But I just feel like he really loves hospitals, people, social outings, lots of parties, political gatherings. He's not afraid to get down in the dirt as well. Like he goes low, he goes dirty. You know, like that Sagittarius moon is not afraid to really get on Twitter and publicly blast people. Like they go low, he can go lower, that type of thing. He's very tit for tat. And that sits all because of the Leo at 29 degrees and it's playing out in the first house. So it's like he likes to devastate his opponent. He doesn't want to win. He wants to see them like crushed and like barely breathing. All right, because the Mars in Leo is way up at 26 degrees as well. So he has to be like number one. His planets are very masculine to me and a little bit like careless, like risk-taking as well. So lots and lots of risk-taking. To him, it's like no risk, no reward. And in relationships against his Venus in Cancer and that Venus in Mercury, it's like for a relationship, he wants to be in control and he wants to be safe. So he might even like sweeten the deal of a relationship for materiality with a person to secure them because he doesn't want rejection. Cancers do that as well. They do that with kids. A dark Cancer will like overcompensate with like holidays and gifts and things like that for their children because they're just not around or they don't really care about their kids too much. When you get a selfish Cancer, that does play out a lot. So they're kind of like, you know, just here's all this money, have a great time, just be loyal to me and do what you're told, that type of thing. So that North Node really increases an overdrive for risk taking. That's where it sits. So it's all about risk taking. He's a live wire. Like at any second it could go one way, then the next minute it could go the other way. So there's no limitation around his Gemini moon either. There's nothing sitting against that to limit it. So it's just all angry and opposites. But yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed me looking at this. I've spent 28 minutes. I could keep going for another 28 minutes easily. But for the context of this video, I want you to see what I do. And I love doing this. So this is Donald Trump's chart. It's been fun looking at it. Interesting man, interesting story. Love him, hate him. He is a very polarizing character. He's a very prominent character in American history, in American arcana. And it's just an absolute fire show. Tornado. It's like a tornado and a firestorm met each other. That's him. Plus that Leo energy in that Leo ascending and that rising. It's like he looks like a Leo rising with his hair and, you know, the fake tan and, you know, the blonde hair kind of comb over kind of thing. Yeah. But ultimately he just wants to be the daddy. A lot of this is a wounded child. You know, a lot of this is a wounded child. So I will leave it here. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was my go at Trump's natal chart. I hope that you have liked how I deliver this, how I talk, how I communicate. This is how I do my readings. So when you get me for a reading, this is what you will be getting. Plus you get 3 questions and I look at any aspect of your chart. Otherwise, it could just be 3 questions about the occult, about the world, about the universe, about the spiritual world, about whatever, the angels or demons. I'm here for it all. Like I say, it's not my job to judge overly. I'm just here to report my findings of the chart back to you. All right. So lots and lots of love. And I will see you in the next video. Leave some comments below. Let me know what you think about this reading about Mr. Donald Trump. I will be looking at Vladimir Putin's, like I mentioned. And yeah, leave down some celebrities. Like, who do you want me to look at next? Who should I, who do you want me to do? Find some interesting people and I'll look at their chart. It's cool. Lots of love. Bye, bye, bye.